I didn't even notice.
We begin our meeting with pledge to the flag, please. Okay, if everyone's had a chance to look over their minutes and operating statements from June and financial statement from Quattrum Financial, we're in line for a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve the operating statements for June the 19th through 2017. Council meeting minutes, July the 10th, 2017. Work session minutes and Quantum's financial statement for May and June of 2017.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Noes? Motion's carried. Okay, at this time we have a very distinguished young man in the crowd here tonight, Commissioner Doug Howard. And Mr. Howard, Commissioner, you're here for Miller Services. And it just, yeah, there you go.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council President, and Council members. It's a pleasure to be here. When you said young man, I assumed it had to be the young man to my left, because I haven't been called young man in quite some time. But I appreciate, I know you have a busy agenda, so I won't take up much time. I'm actually here tonight not as County Commissioner, but as the coordinator of the Miller Center, Miller Small Business Services, and wanted to just take a moment. We're making the rounds to go out and talk to all the town councils about some of the things that are available that we want to make sure that folks know about. Every county has county economic development activities. They really are designed to do two things, really: to attract larger companies to come here and put their headquarters here, and small companies to start their businesses and grow them here. And so over a number of years, we've had a number of different iterations in terms of how small business services were provided. Up until a couple of years ago, we had something called the Carroll Business Path, and about 2 years ago, the decision was made to move the small business services to Carroll Community College under the auspices of Miller. And so I just brought some brochures, but I wanted to let you all know a couple of things. First of all of the Miller services are free to the small businesses in the county. They include services to help businesses get started. But what a lot of people don't realize is that they're also available to businesses that have been in business for however long they've been in business. It doesn't have to be a startup. It can be a company that maybe is trying to grow or is struggling a little bit or taking on some new challenge. We work in partnership with the Maryland SBDC, so they're there to provide counseling services as well. We also have a number of activities and events. One we have coming up in November that's going to be at Chaladon, which is called And Away We Grow. And it's a series of presentations that are going to help local businesses learn how to do better with the government set-asides that are being changed at the way they're being done at the federal and state level. And so we want to make sure that our businesses have those activities. We know in every town that economic development is always a challenge, and that our main streets are our very best incubators. And so that's why we just wanted to take a few minutes. I think this is the 6th of the towns in Carroll County that I've been out to, just to drop off some information, let folks know that those services are out there. And also, and finally, just to say that we've also done some things that have been customized for the town of Sykesville, Mount Airy. We just did a series. So if there's a particular need for businesses, they have a particular area of concern or some activities that are specific maybe to this area, we also can customize programs for that as well. So really just kind of want to make sure that you, as you know, the folks that we know are probably approached from time to time when people want to start a business, or maybe they're in the town and struggling, or want a new opportunity, to let you know what was out there. So that was the purpose for coming out tonight. Nothing political and nothing controversial.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to jump around our agenda here just for a little bit. Next, we are going to have a little presentation about If I Were Mayor contest that was held. It's held every year in April through the Maryland Municipal League. and we try to contact all the fourth grade students within all the schools in the state of Maryland. This year, I think we only, if I'm correct, we had 2 that participated this year at Elmer Wolf. That numbers were low. Last year, we had probably 25 or so. I don't know what we can do to get our numbers up. This is a program that is very beneficial. It gives the students an opportunity to write essays about it. Some of them very interesting because they say, if I were mayor, and they give their ideas as a fourth grade student. And then all the essays are, they're looked at, and then they're sent to Annapolis, and they have a group of people that will spend a day reading those essays throughout all the essays. So I think this year there was probably a total of probably 1,600 essays through the state of Maryland. Last year, I think someone from a Carroll County person was in the runner-up. So it's just something we have to work with the teachers at the school and maybe get a little bit more effort there for the kids to participate. It's a very good program. And this evening, we have a young man, let's see. Mr. Jackson Riley. He is here, and he is willing to, he's going to come up here, and he is going to read his essay, If I Were Mayor. So, Jackson.
Let him come up here.
Stand right here, and those cameras, you can stand here.
You want him to stand up here, Perry? Or you can
Come up here. You can set the mayor's chair, how about that? How about that? Just roll you right up there, okay?
Hello, my name is Jackson Riley, and my teacher is Miss Vaughn, and this is my If I Were Mayor essay. If I were mayor, I would do a lot of things that I hope would let everyone from kids to pets in the community be happy. First, I would make a meeting room in my community center that discusses the new laws of the town, that is open to the public, and a bathroom that is also open to the public. Next, I would make a fenced-in animal park. I want it fenced in so animals can run free and don't get loose. I would also put a park for people of all ages. The park would have a playground for kids, multiple sport fields for kids and young adults, and finally, a walking path for people of all ages. Then I'd put a creativity room that is open to anyone, although it's made for kids and people with special needs. You might be wondering how I would pay for this awesome community center. Well, what I thought was to buy the community center and gradually pay it off with some of the tax money made in Carroll County.
Good job, bud.
Okay, you just wait here a second. While you are here, we have a gift certificate here for Original Pizza for you participating, and we're very proud of you, and you can come back and visit us anytime you like to, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to go back to our agenda. We have Brian Clusie and Sherry Thompson here with a committee called Dream Big for Union Bridge.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I want to thank you for allowing us to speak this evening. Over the past 3 years, I've had a dream. The dream was to excite and motivate community members in taking back their community, as you all are aware. In May, upon speaking with Dawn, she mentioned that the community needs to come together to help assist the town council in making changes. As many know, members in the community have dreamed before, and without their dreams, the building we are in this evening would not exist, nor the community center. Keeping in mind with what Dawn mentioned, I decided to hold an event to bring the community members together to dream. In June, Dreaming in Union Bridge was born. The first meeting brought in 20 interested citizens, which over the past month has quickly turned into 30 dedicated citizens willing to change the community one project at a time. The main goal of the group is to work with the town council in order to help improve and promote activities involving our youth. Our group will also help assist other organizations like the Lions Club, VFW, Union Bridge Fire Department, and other community organizations when they need volunteers. Over the past month, we have had several meetings where we have planned projects, fundraising efforts to support those projects in order to address them with you this evening. I know that there are concerns about who will manage the Dream Big and Union Bridge group. I'm proud to announce that Dream Big Union Bridge is now connected to the Carroll County Foundation, making it a nonprofit organization. So they'll continue doing all of our books and all that. At this time, I will turn it over to Sherry, who will introduce you to the Dream Big Council.
Good evening. My name is Sherry Thompson, and Brian and I consider ourselves as the godparents of Dream Big Union Bridge. And our goal is, again, to partner with the town council, help you all to provide manpower to help improve and beautify Union Bridge. By that, we'd like to do like some block parties, we're going to do some improvements, we're doing fundraisers, just different things to help. We want to partner up with you all and help you because I know you probably lack manpower, and that's where we want to step in and try to help you guys and assist you any way we can. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our officers. We have our president, Bridget Hopkins, our vice president, Linda Biddle, our secretary, Emma Keene, and Erica from the pizza shop is our treasurer, but we don't really have a treasurer. That's going to be our where the money gets dropped off kind of place because everything goes to the county foundation and they disperse the money and pay our bills, and we deposit all the money with them. Does anybody have any questions? We haven't actually set an exact date yet. We want to start meeting. We've been meeting kind of every week, just trying to get the ball rolling, but we are eventually going to, have a set time that we meet. And at that time, everybody is welcome. We are definitely partnering up with the youth so that we can get them some community hours. We want them to be able to help elderly people, or if someone gets hurt and needs their lawn mowed, their sidewalk shoveled, whatever, we want to be part of that and help get that stuff done when there's a need. So we've got a lot of good ideas, and one of the projects that we hope to be working in, I'm going to turn over to Bridget and let her share with you all.
In our efforts to make Union Bridge a better place to live, we decided that we wanted to put 2 bulletin boards, community bulletin boards up. So we started fundraising for that. We'd like to place one down at the walking path and then one at the community center so that our community can see all the things that we have to offer to the community. So we started a sub sale so that we could raise efforts for that. We'll also be having a paint night at Limbo's Railway Pub on October the 14th. And we have some other things in mind to do fundraising so that we can help support our community. We'd like to ask your permission for us to be able to have those before.
Donald, you usually take care of the grounds and
Yeah, I'll
stuff for
take,
us?
in the park, I'm the person to see on that. So I see the picture here. Looks real nice. I have a couple of things I could actually put on it also for the community.
Sure.
So who do I, other than Brian, who do I make contact?
So eventually what's going to happen, 2 people are going to hold the keys, and probably there's going to be keys up here as well for the community bulletin board. I think Linda was going to hold a key, and Miss Kathy was going to hold a key for people that were interested if town council was closed or town hall was closed. They can contact them, they'll post this stuff up, and we'll keep a key up here as well in case you guys need to put something up as well.
Okay, I think what Donald's talking about, because he will be your go-to person to where to place the sign there, and Edgar will be the person you will contact to place the sign in the area of the community center.
I would say Bridget
And who raised your hand, young lady?
That was Bridget. That was
Okay,
just-
gotcha. All right. Okay, thanks.
And do you also want to go over what it looks like, or?
No, I have a picture here.
But
It
that's
looks,
fine.
yeah, that's nice, looks nice.
Yeah, we're gonna do
And
double sided
I say shatter-proof,
It was on your sleeve, sorry.
graffiti-proof. So, that's a start. Yeah,
Okay.
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 Good deal.
Let's make this official, that we'll get a vote that you guys approve this, okay?
Want a motion?
Yes. Mhm.
I'll make a motion that we're in agreement with the project here in the park.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Noes? Okay. You're granted permission, and these are your contact people to work with.
All right.
Thank you very much.
That, if there's an event going on in the community, can we contact you to hang our flyer in that?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
You would drop a flyer off, I live down Miss Candy's, or down in Laws,
Okay.
and Miss Candy and I are responsible for putting up the new
Okay.
flyers and taking down the out-of-date flyers.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, we'll move back down. Is that the end of your report, Brian, in your committee? Okay. Okay, we'll go back to the mayor's report. We have the proposed budget for Shriner Court. Has everybody had a chance to look at that? Looks pretty good for this year again. They do a really good job there. We need a motion to approve their budget for this year.
Make a motion, we approve Shriner's Court budget for 2017 and 18, proposed budget.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Noes? Motion's carried. Okay. Also, I have an appointment for the Planning and Zoning Commission. Ms. Robin Kiefer lives on Benjamin Street. Her time has expired on that committee, and I would like to replace her with Martin Ward that lives at 141 Union Bridge Road, which is right at the top of the hill. I talked to Marty yesterday and asked him if he would like to serve on the planning and zoning. He said he would. I said that's a good mix, because one of these days, if we all live long enough, there will be a big housing development right out across from his house. So he's willing to participate on that board. So we have talked to Dawn today, and we have the information. And of course, he has to take a planning and zoning little get to know what planning and zoning is about on the computer, and we'll see that he gets all that information, and we'll take care of that. So glad to have him on board.
I need a motion.
Yes, I do need the council to approve him, if that's okay with everybody. Our people trying to get committee people to work on committees in Union Bridge is hard to do. But this is a committee that I talked to Marty that this is a very active committee, and we need people that are dedicated, that can come and participate in the meetings once a month. So planning and zoning is going to be very important here with these developments coming up, and he's willing to do that, and that's my recommendation. I'd like the council's approval on that, please.
I'll make a motion that we accept Marty Ward for the Planning and Zoning Committee.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any questions? All those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Those, motion's carried. Okay, that's all that I have right now at this time. We'll go to Mr. Maguire for the attorney's report.
Okay, fairly brief tonight. The status update on the bond refinance is that everything's going according to schedule. Dawn and I are exchanging comments with the bond counsel and the CDA, and we're pretty close to final documents, which are to come our way within the next couple of days. The settlement on the town CDA loan, because it's sort of a two-step transaction, is August 1st. So we need to get these documents back to them signed by the mayor, Dawn, and myself by the end of the week. And then the settlement on the CDA bonds to market is August 2nd, so it happens back to back. And it certainly appears as though that's all going to happen on time. There's a big team, working on that. I believe it's still 10 jurisdictions, total of $39 million in the pool. The bonds, because it's pooled, Union Bridge doesn't have a specific bond that goes to market. I'm just starting to completely understand this now. But they issue multiple terms over time, and various municipalities pay it back, and they retire the bonds over time. So it's not as there's one bond with one percentage rate like the bond we had before. We're part of the pool. But they compute for us what they call the true net interest rate, which is 2.97%. That includes not only the stepped payouts over time, but also the cost of the bond. There's trustee fees, the bond counsel fees, things that go into the initial setup of the bonds. So all this is being done in accordance with Ordinance 314, which council approved back in April. So no need for council action on this. It's just an update. And unless there are any questions on that, the only other thing, Amy asked me to report, because she wasn't here tonight, that the Planning Commission did in fact meet and grant a 1-year extension to the Jackson Ridge preliminary plan approval. So there's been a series of those 1-year extensions by Union Bridge Code. They're required to come back and get it extended. There was not much discussion this year. There's been a lot of discussion over the draft Public Works Agreement, so I think the Planning Commission felt like they were pretty much up to speed with where things stand. And the only other thing on that is I believe you all have the draft edits of the Public Works Agreement, so at some point when you get back to me, we can hopefully wrap that up.
Okay. All right.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this time we'll have Mr. Mike Reynolds. He is our grants person. He will give us an update here this evening.
Hello, Mayor and Town Council. We'll start off tonight with the Program Open Space Award. We did get word back from the county that they did approve our community center upgrades project. So right now I'm in the middle of filling out an application and getting together the information to send the application into the county, who will in turn return it to the Department of Natural Resources for official approval. So we look good as far as our funding is concerned for that. Next is the USDA grant for the town truck. We're looking for a town maintenance truck. And they've had me jumping through a few hoops over the last few weeks on that one, but I've gotten back out the information. They've asked for a couple more quotes. They've asked for some information on some unallocated town funds that they saw in our financial statements, which we provided back to them on Friday. And now Kendra will submit that to her supervisors for to see if it gets approved. So we should hear back on that soon. Third project we're working on is USDA inflow and infiltration, the I&I engineering study. We were basically on hold to hear back from Maryland Environmental Service for the third quote. I've yet to hear from them other than it's with their management. It's been a couple weeks now. So I feel that they're kind of dragging their feet. And Jeff Glass has already said that the quote that we got back from GHD, the proposal from them, it's $200 less than Arrow Consulting, and also he felt that they were taking a better approach towards getting to the root of our problems. So he recommends the GHD quote. I submitted to the council to see if you would take a vote and see if you want to go forward with GHD. If you're not ready tonight, I can provide you the quote from GHD so you can take a look at that. And then maybe do that in your next work session.
Well, I think if Jeff Glass, he's our gentleman, does our work for us, and if he's familiar with these people and he's okay with it, I think, he's the professional as far as I'm concerned, and I don't think that we should try to throw a monkey wrench into what Jeff is thinking is the best for the town. If these people, I know we use Arrow a lot, but if GHD is just as good a firm and Jeff is okay with them, I think we should probably take Jeff's recommendation.
The one caveat to that is the fact that we would have to send a letter to USDA letting them know that we're changing vendors and why changing them.
Right.
The quote from Arrow was the original proposal that was sent to the USDA. So
And this was,
a big deal, she said.
right, and this was one of those that we did not have to go out for bid because of that, so.
That's correct.
So if we want to change, we just have to notify them and let them know that we're going to change vendors.
That's correct, and as long as it doesn't go over the awarded amount
Right.
of $27,500, we're good. We're still
Okay.
fine.
Okay, council's wishes on this? Edgar, somebody?
Okay. I'll make a motion, we go with Jeff's recommendation.
Okay. Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor to go with GHD Engineering. Is there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Those motion's carried, so we can go proceed.
To work on getting a letter together, and Mr. Mayor, I'll need you to sign off on that when I
Okay.
have to go. The last project that we're looking at is the Community Parks and Playground has come up with an August 16th deadline for a grant to help our community parks. And we've identified the reconditioning of our tennis courts in town. The surfaces are really run down, they're cracked, grass is coming up through it. The tennis poles that hold the net are kind of caving in, and the lights are in terrible condition. So I've already reached out to a company called Tennis Seal, which I believe they're the ones who did the original surfacing of the tennis courts. And I've also reached out to Mike Rodkey, with Fern Rodkey, the electrician out of this tiny town. He's come out to do a walkthrough with me, and I'm just waiting on a quote back with him, which he owes me by the end of the month.
Okay.
So we should be fine to get a quote in, or get an application in by August 16th, which is the deadline.
Okay. And just to let everyone know, when you talk about the tennis courts, there's a new recreation that's going around the communities. It's called pickleball. And it's more of a slower pace for us older people. We don't have to run back and forth as much. And it's from the places that they have it in the county, the people are enjoying it very much. So hopefully we'll have our pickleball court also with our tennis court.
You know, the balls are the size as beach balls.
I think there was an article in the Carroll County Times recently about a Carroll County gentleman who was up for the championship.
Yes. So,
Getting some news.
yes.
That's all that I have for my report, unless you have any questions for me.
I do.
Yes, sir.
Is there any type of grant out there that we can get some equipment for the park, like mowers and stuff like that?
Like lawn maintenance and things like that.
Right,
I can certainly see what's out there.
right.
I'll take a look. If you let me know what you need.
Well, we're sort of interested in a boom mower or a tractor. And I mean, I've been dealing with a person, or I've talked with a person that we thought was going to get the money on a grant once before, and it fell through. So I have that information.
Okay, if you can get that to me, then it'll give me an idea of what the cost would be,
Okay,
and then what grants would be available for that.
okay.
Certainly.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Okay. Okay, we're moving right down the list. Public concerns, comments and concerns. Shannon, I see you got one asleep on you, so if you want to.
Sorry, I have an appendage tonight. Shannon Marble, Union Bridge Liaison for West Carroll Rec Council. Nothing really spectacular to update. Spring sports are over. U10 had a tournament last weekend. I wish I could give you the results, but I didn't make it down there. But it went well. Fall registration for baseball is over, and we might have enough for 2 teams for U8 and U10, which is really exciting. The update from one of the U8 coaches, though, this morning was he thought we needed at least 2 or 3 more. So if anybody here knows anybody who wants to play baseball in the fall, sign up. Sign up. Go on the Rec Council website, and it will take you to the Blue Sombrero page to sign up. I'm sure they'll take a couple more kids. Registrations are still going on. Fields are looking great. Thank you for letting us use you.
Thank you.
And that's it, really.
Well, I really thank you for participating, knowing that you have two little ones there. Just goes to show you, we have people in town that say, well, I can't do this because of my children. And I know that you and your husband are very involved with the rec council, also the fire company, because there's a lot of little kids that run around the fire hall. So there's no excuse for people saying they don't have time because of their kids. So, that's right.
Thank you for letting us.
Thank you. Okay, any other public comments or concerns? Please state your name and address, please.
Hi, Vicki Shockley, 124 North Main Street, Union Bridge. I'm here on behalf of the Francis Scott Key Music Program. We're trying to get more parents involved and what...
Stay close to the mic so they
Our
can...
last meeting, our plan was to have a picnic for incoming freshman parents and sophomore parents, and we were trying to find some place around the community, and we thought the community center would be a perfect place to hold that event. We were thinking about either a Friday evening or Saturday afternoon, trying to get new blood, because most of the parents that are working with the band right now have 11th and 12th graders, and we're going to be leaving, so we need to get people, like we're saying, more people to help. And we wanted to know if the town would consider reducing the fee or waiving the rental fee for the band boosters.
Okay. I had no problem with that. Edgar, recommendation on that?
No, I don't have no problem with that. I mean, you know,
We just have to work with Dawn to
Right.
see what weekends or, what days are available.
Some days to
So-
and I gave it back to them.
And that would be reduced or free rental, how you want to do it. It is a community event. I mean, it's,
let me see.
For youth.
free or reduced?
Free? Okay.
Free. Edgar's saying free, okay?
So do you still need a security deposit and the...
Certificate of liability.
Okay, all right. Okay, I'll take it back to them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay, now we're going to go, we'll start with our committee reports. We'll start with Laura.
First, I wanted to congratulate Jackson on winning the If I Were Mayor essay for the Town of Union Bridge. Congratulations, you did a great job reading it tonight. I'd like to thank Ken for changing out all the decorative lights on Main Street. He converted them to LED and they look great. They're all consistent and all have the same nice hue. I submitted 4 street lights to be fixed to Potomac Edison, and I've checked on 3 of the 4, and they have been fixed, and I have not checked on the light up by the community center yet. I attended the CCRC meeting on July 13th. The meetings will now be held quarterly instead of bi-monthly. And John, I spoke to Carroll County regarding the IGA, and she said that there is an MOU between CCRC and CMC, and if they change the IGA, all jurisdictions and town attorneys would have to be involved, and the commissioners would want to make changes. So they decided just to keep it with an MOU. Is that because you had asked me in an email?
I'm trying to remember. Mike, we had made suggestions to change the IGA. I'm not remembering what they do with what the MOU does. Did she give you a copy of that?
She did not, no.
Okay.
I can get a copy if you want me
I
to.
think, yeah, just to kind of follow up on that.
Okay.
But if they're not going to change the intergovernmental agreement, then I think we'll wait until they get around to that.
Okay. And then I attended the MML conference in June, and I attended 8 classes and the open general session. The first class I attended was Combating the Opioid Heroin Crisis, a Multi-Jurisdictional Strategy. Smart Cities, a TED-style talk. Community Policing Challenges, Understanding the Role of Implicit Bias. Resolving Municipal Conflict, There's Got to Be a Better Way. Tiny Town Forum, Time to Talk Maryland, Community Conversations That Matter, SNAP Learning, Partnering to End Homelessness, and SNAP Learning, Dealing with Difficult People. I have written a 6-page outline of my notes for Dawn, so they're available at Town Hall. I will not read them all because I don't want the meeting to go for the next 45 minutes listening to my notes. But there are some interesting things I have pondered since the conference. The general session, the keynote speaker had given some interesting quotes that I had pondered. One of them was, "Diversity is not about counting heads, but making heads count." He said, "Don't become a victim, but a victor. Change is inevitable, but growth is optional. Never assume malice, even when harmful things are done. We need to know how to reject rejections, even when the people who reject us reject us. We need to get on the same team by working and pursuing common goals. We need to build bridges of understanding and knock down walls and educate the next generation," which I liked that section of his talk the most. He was a high school dropout and became a doctor from Harvard. And he suggested that we use middle-class words and tried to grow our vocabulary and word power. And he suggests to read 3 memoirs of people who have it worse than you. He suggested Helen Keller, Warriors Don't Cry. He said, "Don't study alone." He encourages group learning. Read to prevent summer loss. Turn off the TV and electronics. And reading is the key to education to cross bridges. Another class that I took was about community policing challenges, understanding the roles of implicit bias. And there are 2 types of bias. Implicit bias is bias of which we are unaware. Explicit bias is bias of which we are aware. And it talked about, one of the things that I thought was interesting was be suspicious of behavior, not be suspicious of people, and establish what is normal behavior. They said an individual checking all the car doors, is that normal or is that not normal? Obviously, we know that is not normal. And let's see. The one class I took on homelessness, partnering with homelessness, they were saying that each homeless person costs about $16,000 to $17,000 a year for taxpayers. That includes living in a shelter, incarceration, psychiatric care, and it was just trying to help find ways to help them. And it was a reminder that people who are recovering are people too. So I have lots of notes.
Yeah. Okay, Edgar.
On Monday, down there, I went to the conducting efficient meetings, and then went to the opening session. And then I went through some of the exhibits. And then I took a class on transfer of development rights. Then Tuesday, I took a class on rental property regulations, tiny town discussion forum. Then I went back to go through the rest of the exhibits, and took a class on hot button legal issues. And then Wednesday, took one class, was transparent efficiency data security.
Okay. Donald.
Okay, well, ditto what Laura said. I want the same ones pretty much. I'm not going to go 12
borrow my
pages. I
notes?
have 12 sentences, so mine's quite different. I did go to one that I kind of thought was interesting, the community policing challenges. It's quite obvious you don't judge a book by its cover. There was a screen up there with a number of people, and I don't know if anyone actually got to pick out a person and say, okay, this person is a cop, this person robbed a bank, so on and so forth. It's kind of hard just looking at a person without knowing them or any of their background. So then there was another one, the emergency preparedness, which we have our fire company here for emergencies, any type of stuff like that. And get back to town business here. I met with one of the Stanballs representatives today. We have a drain over on Farquhar and Elder Street that has been blocked and that we're gonna have to dig that street up. I hate to do it because it's not that old a street, but we've got an issue with something that's collapsed in there. So we gotta repair that. We also met with White Pine on our streets, or our blacktopping. We have a limited amount of funds so far on our blacktop in some of the streets that we have to do. And the park has been mowed, which looks like it won't be long, we'll have to mow it again. And on August the 21st, the parking lot up at the square is going to be shut down from 6 to 8. Some of the community churches are going to give out backpacks and school supplies to the kids. And that's on August the 21st, from 6 to 8. So, that's all I got.
Okay. I'll go back up just a little bit because with our, if I were mayor, we do have the second person is Haley Zal. They're unable to be here tonight. We also have a gift certificate for them for participating in the If I Were Mayor contest. And I've been talking to Ken, and if anybody notices, at the end of Route 75 in Main Street, there's a little pasture there. It is loaded with Johnson grass. I had contacted the county a couple of years ago. The county said it wasn't theirs. We contacted the state. The state said it wasn't theirs. And from what we believe, that is a piece of land that was dedicated, or the state took ownership of way back in like 1966 for the proposed Route 75, 77 bypass that we'll probably never live to see. But that is a piece of state property, and the Johnson grass is loaded down there. And the county's going around right now giving out citations for people with Johnson grass. So I have a meeting at the county office building on Wednesday for another matter. And while I'm there, I'm going to make some more contacts, and they're giving out citations. If that belongs to the state or whoever, they need to get with them, because that whole field, there's probably a couple acres there that is nothing but Johnson grass. So that's going to have to be taken care of. Just to give you a little update, my time in Ocean City, I arrived Ocean City on Sunday afternoon, and I'm on the, at 2:45 that afternoon, I went to a chapter officers briefing. That was 2:45 to 3:45. And then at 4:30, I had a board of directors meeting because I am on the state board of directors with MML. Monday morning at 8:30, nice and early, had to be there for the parade rehearsal, carrying the flags. We take our flag to Ocean City every year, and they have a parade of all the municipalities that have a flag. This year, they had 130 municipalities out of 157 that attended the convention, with 1,870 some people, the record attendance, and they had 90 different towns that had their flags there. So that is a pretty interesting, and it's a very nice affair to see all the different flags in the parade of the flags. And then the opening session was at 10, and then at noon they have a Maryland Mayors Association, and we had a luncheon with all the new mayors that have been elected like this past May, and trying to welcome them to MML. And we kind of, like everybody tries to get a new mayor and guide them along for the next year. Also went to the community policing, Healthy Waters Roundtable meeting on Monday. Then Tuesday morning, had to be back there at 8:30 because that's when we have our business session. We have our voting for the board of directors. I did not have to run for a board of directors seat this year because I am the district vice president for Carroll County chapter. So that's appointed by the Carroll County chapter. So I didn't have to run for the board seat throughout the state of Maryland. There's 10 positions on the board of directors that are voted on, and over the last 5 or 6 years, I've always been on the board. So this year I didn't have to run, I was automatically appointed. Then we had our business meeting, emergency preparedness, very interesting on the, this is since Governor Hogan's been there, from 1:30 to 3 o'clock. We had a cabinet secretaries roundtable. This year we had 24 to 26 cabinet secretaries there that you could go in and sit there and talk to them about anything. And I did talk to some of the people at Natural Resources about any possibility. And so that's through the Department of Natural Resources, you can contact them. Maybe there's some money there that's can be used for maybe some park equipment there to do some mowing. And then at Tuesday evening, we had the installation of officers. Our Governor Hogan, is always there. He gives a nice talk. They introduce and they do the swearing in of everybody, all the new board of directors and the new president of MML and this sort of thing. On Wednesday, we had an infrastructure financing committee meeting seminar I went to, and then I also went with the dealing with difficult people. I think Dawn went to that. I think that was very interesting. That was a half an hour. That should be about a 3-hour because very interesting. You can learn a lot of things with that. And then that afternoon, I had to stick around because at 2:30 that afternoon, we had our board of directors meeting. And I was asked by the Maryland, the president of Maryland Municipal League, if I would work on the HEPAC committee and be the liaison from the from the MML board of directors, and also the Maryland Municipal League be their liaison to work with the team with the governor's office to develop a role for municipalities in the fight against opioid epidemic that's going out through the state of Maryland. So I accepted that. So that is going to be very interesting. We're going to work with different counties, different health department people, police people throughout the state of Maryland and the governor's office. And I don't know whether it's going to do any good or not, but we're going to give it our best. And I will report back to the Carroll County chapter meeting and the MML board of directors at our regular meetings that we have. So very happy to take the time and work with the governor's committee on that. I have been, over my years as being a mayor, some of them have been pleasant. Back in 1997, I worked on a committee when we had Governor Glendening there. He said it was going to be a very short committee, that it was going to be about 2 meetings, and we started in June, and we had to be done by the end of December, and it ended up being a meeting every week from July until the 1st of December in Crownsville. But that was a committee that was the landlord tenants bill that was redone back in 1970 and back in 1997. And that was a board of about 30-some people in the committee. And it was myself, a lady from Frederick, a gentleman from Baltimore City, and the rest was lawyers and judges on the committee. So it is a very good opportunity to get involved with MML and get out there and meet some of these people. And I just can't say enough about the MML. They've been very good. The training classes that we have, I know there's a lot of people think we go to Ocean City just for, it used to be called a convention. They changed it to a conference. And I can say that the people from Union Bridge attend the meetings very well because I see them in the meetings, and that's the reason why we have them to come back and give a update of what they've done, just so that people know that it's just not a going down there and having fun. You can have a little fun in the evenings after the meeting's over, but during the day, it's worse than going to school or sitting in the college classroom all day. So, but it's a very learning experience for everybody. So, we have nothing else for this evening. Our next work session will be August the 14th. Be the council's work session. Our next council meeting will be August the 28th, right here in this room. Is there any other business before the mayor and council tonight? Yes, ma'am.
Harry, I just wanted to say, I'll stand here, my night's acting up this evening, but I just want to say it's been a pleasure to be here this evening and to hear the different organizations that are trying to pull together for a common cause, which is our youth in town. And I think we all have a special place in our hearts for them. I also would like to see us try to come up with more things for our seniors. We have, not all of them are involved with churches or other organizations. And I think we do have a lot of lonely people. I work close with Shriners Court, and we would love to see some more things. At this point, we only have a Bible study and bingo twice a month. If anyone would have suggestions of things that they could come up with to come and just kind of help them out a little bit also, keeping in mind what Shriners Court stands for. Also think we have a lot of us working in the same areas, perhaps not together. And I think I would like to see us, if any way possible, to come along. We have had one block party, thanks to Gospel Spreading Church, Pam with the Lutheran Church, and many others of us. It was a success. Gospel Spreading is having another one, July 31st, which will be an ice cream social. Also another block party. So I think a lot of us are working in the same direction. So if we could come together and join forces, perhaps we could even come up with more. So it is a joy and a pleasure to be here this evening just to hear what is going on for our youth. And I know many of you have battled it. You can't do it alone. And I think the negativity we need to keep in mind for a small town, we offer a lot. So some of the parents, and excuse me, but some of the parents need to get off of the couches and work with the children. It isn't just the children we need to work with. The parents need to be educated. It doesn't cost you to walk someplace. We have 2 lovely areas in this town to walk. You know, take a nature hike. There's a lovely pavilion. Ken's up to the community center a lot. I see him. He's very busy, I might add. But take a peanut butter sandwich. Eat with your children. You know, it doesn't cost anything. So somehow we need to get the parents off of sofas and get them concerned about where their children are and what they're doing. And it isn't just the council's responsibility, nor the town's responsibility. The parents need to take responsibility as well. And I'm sorry if I tramp on toes, but
Very well said.
we need to pull together. And I know Pam's working hard. Velma is also with Shepherd's staff and does a lot of great things. And I think we would love to talk to the people that talks about the homeless and how much it costs us. But that's another issue that's close to our hearts, Pam and Velma and I. But, and there is a great committee, caring committee, and I think we have just been issued $22,000 that we can hopefully open up some more shelters or enhance what we already have. But Union Bridge is a great place. We've got a great tot lot. We've got the tennis courts going. Years ago, we worked hard to get those tennis courts.
Yes, you did.
in. There's a lot of things here. It was great to see the tournament at the Ball Diamonds being used. But I think people forget what we have to offer. So instead of all the negativity, we need to think of our positives, what the town offers us, and what we can take advantage of. I'd love to see us get flowers again. I don't know if we even have a Girl Scout, but Girl Scouts used to put flower barrels along at various places on the main street. And just start small, but get pride back in our town. Thank you, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much for coming tonight. And I agree with you. I'm glad to see that there are so many people here because there is only so many things that the mayor and council can do. It's just like you said, with this building, back in, after I became mayor the first time back in '91, I said, and Vicki was here, I said we needed a new town office because we were in a ladies' living room, and that committee got together, and they worked hard for 14 years. Donald knows. And because wasn't very breakfast you missed unless you had to work, and myself. For 14 years they worked and they paid for this building. And a lot of people in the community gave a lot of effort, a lot of their funds, a lot of their times. And we had ladies that weren't able to actually help with the breakfast, but they made an effort every month calling people for donations. They had a list that they would call people for the baked good table. And we had a baked table for 14 years that made a lot of money, People went out of their way, they donated, and it was just absolutely wonderful to show you how a town can come together. And this is what we need, you know. That group was a town hall funding committee. They were their own entity, just like your group, Dream Big. And all we ask is that you have someone to come and report to us, let us know your progress, and if there's any way we can help, we'll be glad to help. And another thing, you was talking about our park. Donald had it mowed. We mowed it at just the very right time because Miss Bonnie Keys has been down there collecting the
Milkweed.
the milkweed, and last year she collected milkweed and took them out and harvested them and brought them back, and there was almost 300 of the, what kind of butterflies you call them?
Monarch.
Monarch butterflies, and she's doing that this time, and she says the mowing was just at the right time, that the milkweed's coming back, and she's been down there collecting I guess you call it, whatever you call it, the fruits, the vegetables for the last couple of weeks. She'll just go down there and spend 3 or 4 hours a day down there doing that. So there is a lot going on down in that park. There's a lot to see. And I know there's a lot of people that walk it almost every day, and there's people in this town that don't take the time to do it. But I would like everybody to take at least one trip around there. You'll fall in love with it.
Yeah, this morning I met a new friend, four-legged friend. His name was Rudy. And a lot of people take their dogs down there, longs to clean up behind it. It's a great place for, this one lady has 2 labs. Of course, you know, labs love water. And she lets them jump in the water, and it's just a nice place to walk around, you know.
Miss Linda, would you like to come up to the mic and just give a brief, what you have planning for the dog walk or whatever? I know you have a meeting coming up, but if you would just like to give us a briefing on that, no better time than the camera time.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Linda Biddle. I'm actually one of the owners of Limbo's Railway Pub. I'm also a member of Dream Big Union Bridge and a member of Union Bridge Business Association. So I'm trying to get everybody to work together. One of the things that we're trying to do is actually do a dog walk in the town. I'm sure you've seen them in other towns. Everybody walks the dog round, and it gives people an opportunity to see the businesses in the town and what we do. So actually tomorrow, we're meeting with a lady from over in Townol town because they've already done this very successfully. Our plan is to have them walk along the path that we have down here and everything, bring them up through the town, let everybody see what we're doing, and ultimately end up with a community picnic up at the community centre. And once again, it's just another way for us to bring people into the town. A lot of people have no idea what we do, you know, what's going on and everything. And one of the things that we talked about when we started Dream Big Union Bridge, we hear a lot about you haven't got volunteers and we haven't got, but I think a lot of time nobody even knows what's going on, which is why we're trying to put the community bulletin boards up for everybody to know. We've talked to businesses in the town, we've talked to where the vet used to be, it's going to be a grooming office, and they're prepared to sponsor, like, you know, different stalls along the walk and everything to give things out, obviously for pets. But the biggest thing being just bringing people in and not just letting them walk along a path, just showing them what this small town has to offer that nobody seems to know about.
Right.
So we meet them tomorrow, and then hopefully by the next meeting, I'll have a bit of update for that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, do we have anything else for us this evening? Hearing nothing, we're in line for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, ayes?
Aye.
Aye.
Noes? Thank you very much for attending. Hope to see you again.